Perfect. It's 11 o'clock. Let's get it started. As usual, I'll start with the mindfulness noticing. I invite you to um, notice what is it like to notice we are here in this moment. This image or visual or association just came to me that, what if I imagine I'm like a newborn, um, just got dropped into this body and into this current environment. You can keep your eyes closed, but I also invite you to open your eyes if that feels okay. Vision is such a big part of our experience, moment by moment. I like you to notice whatever you are experiencing through your senses, through your thoughts, inner dialogues, feelings, all these different ways we experience this moment. I'm noticing there's some tightness in my clothing. Oh, I'm here. And I notice the pressure sitting in the chair, noticing the bright daylight coming into my window and my my eyes, the window of my being. I'm noticing noises outside, and even noises I'm making as I breathe in and out. What are you noticing in this moment? What tells you that you are here and now? Oh, the taste of my coffee in my mouth. And as you notice all these cues that you are here and now, is there any way or any part of you somewhere else in the past, in the future, in the fantasy land, or just deep in your thoughts? Take a moment to notice, it's just so, isn't that wonderful, amazing that we could experience life in so many layers and ways, all happening automatically. And next, I invite you, if it feels you would like to, join me. Notice what it's like to shift your attention from one sense to the other sense, or from one focal point to another focal point. Or you can just stay with whatever your attention is resting on for another moment. Whatever your experience is, now I invite you to come back to the screen, to this virtual space. Now it's the 6th time we are meeting here. Let's check in. How was your experience during this mindfulness noticing?
I noticed that almost half year go through, and I can see some difference on my environment and my feeling to be here. I do feel more comfortable to be here, and yeah, it is like what you mentioned before. There's a transformation for ourself also. Yeah, I can see the difference here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I'm glad you are here and you are feeling more and more safe to be yourself.
Sorry, I was I I just noticed a lot of my body sensation that's kind of a I would say probably discomfort because I just got up and I still haven't had my morning tea yet. I just basically it's just start of the day. So I noticed some tension in my back, which it's because I'm doing a weight training. I think that my body is still recovering. I notice my nose is stuffed, feels stuffed. I think basically I have some sort of like I think every time I wake up, I think I'm catching a cold and usually go away after the tea, but today I just noticed more of that. And I notice I want to move my body, just make it more comfortable. So I think just more aware of how my body feel and then what my body need overall. And I do find myself my mind wanders out from time to time, sometimes thinking about I was looking at my when we were looking around, I look at my desk, there is a box of business card on it, and I start thinking, oh, I probably should order a letterhead, which is something I have been thinking about it, and I got more requests for documentation from my clients now, which made me wonder whether I should have more like a formal letterhead. Anyway, so those are kind of random things and sort of about the future, but yeah, so it's kind of interesting just to notice how our attention goes and now can shift from moment to moment.
Yeah. And our answers can always show up in automatic
Yeah.
way. Yeah, we're good at planning.
Yes, yeah, yes, yes. I
Taking
keep
care of
planning. Yep. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I'm also going to check in. To be honest, I was just reviewing the script, and so yeah, I was like, huh, I would really like to be in the present moment. And that's in just 10 minutes ago what I was reading and imagining what it's like a newborn dropped into this body in this environment. Huh, gave me a like a I guess the openness and enhanced curiosity. I really felt curious to take in what I see, what I hear, what I feel. Um, that was cool. And then I didn't like notice it when I shifted from one sense to the other sense, like when I shifted to some noise and the noise it got louder, or when I shifted to looking at the window got brighter. That was also something I noticed. Wow, our attention is the amplifier to all these experiences. Yeah. Alrighty, here we go. Meeting 6. um, I usually, like the past few meetings, was not necessarily planned, but just kind of started sharing some feedback from Deb or from the team meetings. I uh, want to share, well, okay, one thing before I forget. Where are you on the book? And where are you on the many layers of the answer training?
No, the book part is a little bit hard for me. I am still in the introduction part, and the training part I already finished. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm actually I read the book a while back, so I actually haven't really reread it, the book yet. But the training I think I finished the first module, whatever, basically the first big section. I'm still working on that, and I'm planning on finish it by either at the end of this month or early September, because I think that's when my access actually will be expired. So I need to finish by then. So that's definitely on my priority list right now. It is actually helpful to hear Deb talking about answer. Anyway, I just kind of what I noticed is like I think that's something I was like find it's helpful.
So this is the part of the Andrea requirement. It doesn't require you to reread the book or review the second time. It's up to you. But I want to start reminding you, keep plugging through, like for Jinqing, the video, and for Yiheng the book. And maybe next meeting I'll ask you, what page are you on? So we are on this, like in the second half of our 10 meetings together. So there is still time, and time is getting closer to the end. Also, I want to ask you about the October meeting time. I know I asked to switch to the evening, but then as I kind of finalized my itinerary for my trip, realized that's going to be a day we have things planned. I can't make it. Would it be okay to move it to October 20th? That's the Friday after that, after our regular Friday. That will be the third Friday in October. I should be back at home. Then that's the day I'm back. So we can plan on meeting at our regular hour if that Friday works. However, just in case if anything like delayed the flight for a few hours or so, we can still planning on meeting that evening time, 7 to 9 for you, Yiheng, and 5 to 7 for Pacific time. Worst case, I'm willing to meet that weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. Just because there's international flights, connecting flights involved. So we have backups.
When will you be back to America?
I'm supposed to be back the evening of the 19th.
Oh wow, that's
night of the 19th.
That is not easy for you. I mean, you need to time, the jet lag and
time-wise, it's 11 a.m. for me when we start.
Okay.
So I think
okay.
That's doable.
I'll be all right. So whatever.
So then the backup, if the regular time doesn't work, we'll do the evening.
Okay.
Oh, Jinqing, we can't hear you.
Yeah, I just noticed. I would want to say, are you sure you want to meet on the not early morning, but the morning in the next day? Because that's like a lot.
If I would, yeah, I would sleep on the whole day.
For me, I also know myself. I can sleep on the plane usually.
Okay.
That's great.
And yeah, that's kind of a hack from these travels. I kind of started adjusting my time, jet lag, even before I get on the plane and during the plane.
Wow.
That's
I might even stay up the night before we get on the plane so I can sleep better.
Wow.
So that's my hack.
yeah.
All right.
I'm fine. I'm fine either that weekend in general. I think, and also don't want to confirm we're not meeting in November, right?
We're not meeting November, so that's you will anyways. So not meeting.
I want to say I'm fine with that weekend, whether it's Friday morning, evening, or if we need to push into the weekend, that's fine with me. Whatever works better for you.
Me too.
I will keep you posted if there's any changes.
Okay, sure.
Then we add the second Friday of the January for our last meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Enough logistics. So the recent meeting, the consultation meeting, I want to share that video with you. Maybe after this meeting, it's another video of Deb talking about the answer. Just refreshes that we look at everything throughout the whole treatment through the answers concept and the answer lens. If there is a block, it's either the client's answer or our answer, trying to make something happen or trying to make the client's answer go away before we truly appreciate it. So that video, I think it will be helpful. Then I suggest we just move on to the video sharing.
Yuan, do you mind do the first? Because I think I'm still waking up. Do you mind go?
Sure.
Good job asking. Right?
Thank you. Yeah, because I was like, I'm still having my breakfast, and I was like, okay, I'm not ready to talk about my video yet.
Yeah. This is healthy boundaries, and when I need something, I can ask.
Oh, I have a question about the I started from phase 8, and there's some list on the upper page of phase 8, but I just feel wondering how to ask those questions. I didn't upload that part because I didn't do it first time, but like when we started doing the practice, but later I recognize that I should do that, and I redo it. Maybe let me share that one first.
Did you? Did you?
I didn't upload that part, but I can
Okay.
share it here. I can upload it afterwards if needed.
Okay. What's your question?
Like, how should I ask those questions? I don't know whether the way I ask it is right.
Okay.
What should
I can either start answering the question, or you want to show me the video first.
It's a little bit hard for me to share.
That's okay.
Or can you give me an example of how to ask those questions?
Sure. It's just like any other our therapy session. Between sessions, and we, like when we first come in, hey, good to see you again. Welcome back. Have you noticed anything this past week or months since our last meeting? How was it after that processing session? Notice any? So you can start hearing if the clients notice any. They might voluntarily start to bring up, oh, I'm noticing that the answer, that thing I always do, I'm noticing, maybe pause and do it differently. Or I'm remembering more. So memories. If these already, this is like a checklist of the things you're looking. Any symptom reduction. I'm noticing that it's a little easier to go to work, or a little easier asking for support help. That's changes in symptoms. If there's memories, if there's dreams, nightmares, that could, usually, like if there's dreams or nightmares, I learned over time with my clients, realize the content could be really bizarre stuff. That's how our dreams work. We, whatever random information from the past, from the present, from that day recently, get all molded together. But how was it when you first woke up? I felt scared. I was so stressed. I felt really sad. So that's the content, that emotional and some body material that's usually quite fitting from either some present stressor going on or the memory, the chapter or the stage of the memory we are working on. So I pay attention to those material. So yeah, if the whatever the client didn't mention, I might just specifically ask, notice any dreams, notice that anything about more memories, or if then it's naturally we come to, do you recall which memory we worked on last time? We start with that because this is also where there could be very important information to determine what to do next. For example, for Jinqing, you might, without our consultation meeting, you might get some information from the client that I was also separated from my mom from young age, or weaning off breast milk was hard. Oh, even though that was, I heard, I remember, or I remember my grandma told me that I cried a lot. Oh, that sounds like earlier than the touchstone memory we identified the first time. Would it be okay we pause this memory we worked on and start from the beginning, from the earliest? So then that's information, right? Or another situation could be the client comes in, whatever their current life stressor is really big, or we try to start from the touchstone, but say an accident from just months ago or something, is keeps dreaming about it, or it's so big that affects their functioning. Oh, we have two routes. We could go back to the earliest memory, or this recent event or target has to be taken care of before we can access. Then that's a possible, or it's a legitimate reason to use the restricted protocol to take care of some current stressor or present or recent events. Or if the client is going through a whole lot, and after one processing session, maybe this, and they are anticipating something really hard coming up, maybe that's time to, okay, we have another protocol. Even though we haven't processed through all the past, we can help you to prepare for what's coming up. That's the future template. I'm noticing that, my intellectual part and my answer of wanting to give you everything I know is wide open. You let me know if I'm giving you too many options here. Another possible scenario could be the client seemed to be destabilized after we open up some early stuff, and this is a time we evaluate, maybe we are not going into reprocessing, and we just need to take a pause and do some more resourcing or talk about what could be helpful to increase sense of safety and okayness before we go back. It's always the grounding in present and safety has to go first. Safety, then with the grounding, then we can process the disturbing material.
as you mentioned here, I recognize that I actually have some I don't know if that symptoms increased or I just started because I recognize that that's like 1 year old event for me is like my mom left me and also the food is not there. So those two of them are removed together. And I feel like I have the potential, like the potential action is like, if I feel like someone is gonna leave me or really left me, or I feel like they probably will leave me in the future, I feel unsafe, I will eat a lot. So it's like they're together. Like I will bond these two things together. So I do eat a lot recently. Even before the session with Jingxing last 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I recognize that I feel afraid to expose to that memory. And I experienced the unsafety before that, and I does eat a lot. I told Jingxing that I eat a lot that day. And it continued afterwards. Like I have this behavior to maybe make me feel better when I feel unsafe. Yeah.
Qing, you as the
And I-
therapist, how do you, what do you hear? What do you see from this is valuable information, right?
Yeah, what I heard is the client's coping strategy kind of escalated. And that's another question I have is at what point do we pause the reprocessing and then go to resourcing? Because a part of that it is my my thinking is that, you know, for a lot of the client probably gonna happen because it's distressing to getting into the memories, and it's very common, very understandable that there is more distress, particularly after incomplete session, incomplete reprocessing. And likely there will be some rebound of whatever coping they're using. And I guess what I'm thinking is, what I'm trying to figure out is when that it's some kind of warranty, like a pause and the resourcing, when that in a way acknowledging that's what's happening and normalizing for the client, and then continue with the processing, if that makes sense.
Short answer, it's the same as you evaluate the stableness and safety before going reprocessing in the first place. If there is serious suicidal
Okay.
and no safety plan or lack of safety plan, lack of support system, if there is dangerous self-harm or substance use behaviors and not under control that could spiral out of control, it's same here.
Okay.
But however, if it's just, oh, recognize, yeah, the stressing memories that have been buried for a long time is activated, and how does that make sense with the answer? Can you see the client's answer working hard
Mm.
to comfort when you're separated from your primary caregiver? How adorable, and the crying, giving up and eating other food, even though that's not the one you really want, but it provides a little bit comfort and you can fall asleep after getting exhausted, right? So now this is the going back to our answer questionnaire at the very bottom, like how wondering, how was this adaptive?
Yeah.
See the answer as, can we see the client as adorable? That's just what they had to do
Hmm.
then. And when they are reminded of the trauma or the distressing experience, their answer is automatically trying to help.
Okay. Yeah, that's helpful. And also it's really helpful to hear so looking at a coping behavior in the context of answer, because I think that's something I kind of even for before in my mind there are two categories, but I think it makes sense that they're actually the same thing, because it is, yeah, the whatever coping behavior the client develop, but that's part of the answer, because they're getting good at it, whether it's self-regulating by eating or doing whatever, or yeah. So it sounded really is if it's like they're how severe this behavior is, how dangerous it is, how much risk. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
If the risk is low or even moderate with safety plans, then the kinder thing is go back to the source and reprocessing through. That's what really gets them closer to adaptive behaviors, not having to resort back to what helped in the past, but the present is different. And I'm truly out of the past and in the present. So that's the most effective help.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
In that video I'm going to send you that it's titled pissing off the answer. Whatever shows up, even if the client is getting mad at you in the session, or the client is getting impatient about the process. Are we done yet? I'm
Oh yeah.
many of these terrible memories I have to keep doing. I'm tired. I'm fed up with this sadness or frustration. This, or could this be part of memory? After being left with their emotions, or nobody was supporting or helping them to make sense, or um, allowing them to fully express and release, they started getting impatient and frustrated with their own emotions. How can you see as the therapist, like whatever is here, we are being curious, like, I wonder if this is part of the memory.
Mm.
Could this be what you had to do in the back then?
Right.
Even body sensations, like indigestion. How could a baby rest? We can't rest and digest when we are in fight or flight distress. Of course, your digestion system was malfunctioning. And that's what's showing up as we go back to the reprocessing. As well as sleepiness. Could that be what happened in the memory? I would cried and cried and cried and finally exhausted. It's okay to just notice, go with that. Not trying to change it, not trying to make it a go away or run away from it. Is it okay to just notice that? Go with that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I was thinking, particularly with the sleepiness, I think my first reaction, my gut reaction in the moment was to help the client stay awake. Because I think in my mind, it's this, I associated feeling sleepy with feeling out, kind of being out of here and not being present, and but it also, I think it also makes sense that for some client, it is part of their reprocessing. Yeah. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I think I just kind of noticed that sort of my own reaction with Ethan, because I think that happened in our session, and I remember my reaction was like, oh, I no, my reaction was, oh crap, I'm doing something wrong. My client's out.
How is
And
that your answer?
yes, it is. Yeah, anyway, yeah, it is my answer. It was, I'm doing something wrong. This is not going well. I need to fix it. And I think what I tried this time is not to try to fix it. But I definitely remember those are urge on my part to like sort of help the client to not experience the sleeplessness and so yeah. So I'm glad that I appreciate you bringing it out. You kind of pointing it out, and it is helpful to look at it from that perspective.
Now your awareness is expanding. Anything other than just being curious, I wonder what is happening. I wonder how this could be part of the memory.
Mm.
Anything other than the curiosity and just this moment taking in, yeah, I'm noticing the facial expressions changing. Literally some color change and frowns or the eyes and anything other than the present observation and the curiosity. Probably our answer is here.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay. Am I noticing an urge to do something?
Yeah. Yes. It's also, I think, helpful to hear Lizzie talking about client get pissed. And it's not even happening in the practice, but I definitely have had a client who not happy with sort of getting into we're not doing EMDR rate processing, but more like a verbal processing of some of the memories they had. And I suddenly have had a client was like, oh no, I don't want to go there. And anyway, so it's always kind of, for me, it's I think my answer in those situations tend to show up in a formal, oh, I'm putting my clients through something uh uncomfortable, painful. Yeah, I think that, again, I think it just requires some reminder for me to stick with that in those moment, because I think my answer will tell me to comfort the client, rescue the client. Let's pause here. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. But that's something I'm also I realize when it comes to working with the trauma, it it can show up for me as well. It can show up as part of my answer when client, particularly when client was expressing very vocal about how unhappy they are about what we're doing.
Could that be part of the memories or um, what is there that they are good at when they are getting angry with us?
That's true. Yeah. I think some of them, that's part of their pattern. That's part of their own answer. That part of their pattern is like they got pissed. They got mad.
We get mad and we stop talking about, stop poking at
Yeah. That I think
right.
I think that's something that how they handle distress in other relationship as well. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I think with some of them that well, I think actually with all of them having that kind of reaction in therapy session, that tend to be their answer too. Because I mean, I have a client who doesn't like that, but their response is different. They're not gonna typically they're not gonna get mad at me or get a very vocal about how happy they are in therapy sessions. But those people who actually get really vocal about that, usually they are the ones also very, very mad, or tend to be mad at their partner, their friends. Yeah, it's true. It is, yeah, it is part of the answer show up.
When I was training the SAFE model, it's impossible not to do the answer questionnaire and use that with every client.
Yeah.
You had the conversation with them. Sounds like you are really good at setting boundaries or putting down a wall. That's what I don't like. What we don't want to go, where we don't want to go with your anger.
Mm-hmm.
Shut people out. And that's enforcing or protecting your boundaries, protecting your whatever you are. You're a lot of sometimes some people would have they're flexible with others, go, or okay, fine, and then they are backed in a corner and they have to get angry to get their boundaries respected and honored.
Yeah.
And if you had this conversation with them, then it's difficult on the flip side to express your feelings and thoughts as things arise. I'm not really comfortable with this, and work things out as they arise instead of building up resentment, letting the boundary slide until they are feel like they are taken advantage or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the anger had to be the bad person, the protector of the final bottom line.
Right. Yeah.
All right, we took a little detour.
Well, that's helpful though. I appreciate. Yeah, that's pretty helpful to talk about this.
Yiheng, does that
Okay, so I'm gonna share. Yeah.
do you feel like the phase 8 question is answered?
Sorry.
Oh, do you feel like you got what you need about phase 8?
Yeah. Yeah, and after the next question is, I feel like I have a expectations from my clients. Like, I will share this.
We're just thinking that in a way she doesn't need those people any in the same way you used to. Because I need to remember when I getting older and I had a friends I play with, and school for most part has been good experience for me. Both, I mean, academically is fine, but also I had a lot of friends throughout my school years. So it's, I was thinking that, you know, she doesn't need any. It sucked that nobody was there at the time. But at some point she didn't need those people as in the same way he used to as well. So yeah.
So, my question is like, I'm thinking maybe because she didn't get that attention, like physical touching from parents, then she supposed that she don't need it. I just feel like At that point, I have thought that it's. I hope that she can um recognize that she still needed it. I just have the expectation for her thought for, and finally at the end of this whole session, she recognized that oh, probably she still needed it because she still feels sad. And I feel a little bit achievement that I did, although I know that it's not the thing I did, like it's not my work, or I just feel like it's hard to really let it be, or yeah, because I feel when the thing is not as I think is right, I will feel like it's not right, and I really want to change it because I think that that thought is not good for her. I have this expectation. I want to achieve something in that session. That's why I lost so long for eye movement. I don't know. I just I don't think that's. I don't know. That's probably not helpful for them. But I just can't stop thinking of that. I hope to correct it. Yeah.
That's a great observation and question. I'm I have answers and I'm noticing. I just before we get to my answer, I'm noticing you working really hard, wanting the client to um, be free from the pain, be free from the answer, and to get somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also have the thought that how long it would take for this therapy. Like I did a whole session. I didn't change anything. Like I even didn't come to be. Where is the end point of the session? Like how long it would take for this reprocessing? Yeah, I just have this question in my mind that how long it would take. Will this take forever? I don't know where it is gonna be. Yeah.
Right. Would it be okay to just take a moment, notice what you are noticing in yourself right now as you reflect on this?
I felt the stomach is stretched, like worrying about the results, worrying about the outcome of this process. And I think I was worried about, will she just believe that she don't need anyone to be with? I don't think that's a good option. I'm just so afraid of that. What really there? What will really her real thoughts? I don't want that, but I don't know how to really prevent that happening. So yeah.
How is this part of your answer?
Like there's a high expectation or standard there I want to achieve, but it's not something I can control because there's clients reprocessing experience that is something I cannot control. So once the situation is out of my control, I do feel like I feel worried, anxious.
Where you realize that it's not what you can control, the more pressure you are feeling, the more worried you are. applying the 5 C's. Now, could you see how you became good at that? Worrying about the outcome, feeling really you have to work really hard to get somewhere. Even though that's out of your control, you have to work even harder.
I never thought that, although it's not under my control, but sometimes, maybe not this situation, but others, even things is out of control, I still need to take responsibility for the results, or I need to just accept that it will influence on me. That is why I feel so uncomfortable or unsafe when it's out of control. Because maybe I always feel like out of control is a bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of things is out of control. It's hard for me to let it be.
I'm seeing an adorable little baby. This is my speculation. Would you like me to share what I'm seeing?
Just worrying about parents' behavior because it's out of my control. And how they will do something on me. I don't know. Maybe I have some bad experience. Yes, of course. And because of those words, and I feel afraid of other possibilities being heard again.
This might be a little activating for you, going back, connecting to the origin. It's completely optional if you we're just leaving it here, or you want me to share what I'm seeing as the earliest adaptation, and then maybe we can use a resource to help you come back to regulation. Either way is totally fine.
I can do the second one. And I just have a thought and a memory that is all about my grade and for my exam. I actually feel satisfied about myself. I think those grades are good enough, although it's not perfect or excellent, but I feel like it's good enough. But every time when I bring the outcome back home, my father never feels satisfied, never. And it really, first place, it really makes me feel confused. Why I feel good, but you don't. And he will punish me if it's not good enough. And I feel being punished without any, like it's also something out of control, or it's out of my standard already. So, yeah. We can do that. Yeah.
So what I'm seeing is that the 1-year-old, it was totally out of her control that she was left in the situation, felt abandoned, felt totally disconnected and scared. Yet she had to figure out some way. Oh, must be something I did wrong, or that's the only way that little baby could interpret. Maybe I did something wrong that caused mom to leave. Once you had to figure out what can I do extra to make mom happy or satisfied or pleased with me, so that then they never leave me again. So wasn't that helpful? That little girl started becoming so good at making other people feel pleased in order to maintain the connection. The little girl automatically feeling, I have to do more. I have to figure out other ways, work hard. Even though I'm not sure what went wrong or what is going on. Something. Responsible. It's fixing it.
No wonder I always feel there's something wrong with me. No matter what the situation is, I always feel something's not good.
There you go. Does that make sense? That how else could a 1-year-old make sense of what happened to her? Right? Review. What are you noticing in this moment?
French, never trust.
Heaviness or pressure?
Pressure and mistrust.
How about we use a somatic resource like the spiral? Now I invite you to tune your attention towards that area in your stomach or around your stomach, and notice where you feel that sensation, where you stop feeling that sensation. Notice how big that area is.
Actually, it's my chest and I want to call it.
Can you notice the boundaries of that sensation? The shape.
I feel like there is stone in my chest.
How
Dark,
big, how small?
a little big, a little bit bigger than my heart. Yeah, yeah.
What do you notice if you do you, how would you describe that sensation or that area in terms of colors?
The darkness. Yeah, it's dark one. And it's really strong. Like it's a tough one. But after I name it, like I described it, it's getting better.
What about heat or cold?
It's cold. And it's kind of want to come out. That's why I was doing cough.
So it sounds like there is also already some movement or energy. Now I invite you to imagine using your mind's eye, your attention to guide that energy and start slowly moving it in a direction, almost like a spiral, whatever direction it feels appropriate. Start really slow, either spiral upward or spiral outward, whatever feels appropriate, and slowly gaining some momentum. Continue to notice the color, the area, the quality as you continue the spiral in one direction. And imagine the spiral grows bigger and bigger and starting to spiral out of your body. Stay with this momentum for a moment. Continue to notice the boundaries of the sensation, the quality of the sensation. Imagine the center or the most dense part of the spiral continues to follow this spiral, getting dissipated and leaving your body. What are you noticing now?
Just imagine it's come out from my nose and feel much better now.
Take a fresh breath.
I even is sweating now.
A little sweaty.
Yeah,
That's some real work your
Mhm.
body worked through. Do you feel okay enough to come back?
oh, it's so energy consuming.
It is.
Yes.
Right. Right. This kind of work doesn't seem like real work, but it's real work. Yeah. No kidding. Some clients can feel really tired after reprocessing. That's why sometimes it's important to talk about your plan after the session. Yeah. Okay. It's also time for us to take a break.
Thank you.
10 minutes. Okay. We'll come back in 10 minutes.